close of play of the second day of this fourth test between England and India at the Oval sees India close its second innings on 43 for no wicket. So they battled well there, those two opening batsmen, through 16 overs. It means that they are, however, still 56 runs behind England's first innings total of 290. That gave them a lead of 99. Today, England lost to Overton for 1. That was with no addition to the overnight score of 53. Not long after that, Malan was out for 31. That was 62 for 5. And again, a bit of head scratching going on, because there really didn't seem to be too many faults with this surface at all. Bairstow and Pope then added 89. Bairstow made 37. Again, he got in. We're disappointed that he was out LBW to Siraj. That's 151 for 6. Moeen took the lead to 31. He added 71 with Pope with some beautiful shots, but then played a very rash stroke to Jadeja and was caught by Rohit at cover for 35. Finally, Pope was out. He chopped on quite a wide ball from Thakur into his wickets for a very good 81 from 159 balls. And then, the tail really was well supported, well held together by Chris Woakes, who's having an excellent comeback game. He made exactly 50 before he was run out. Bit of mayhem at the end after Robinson had a swipe and was bowled by Jadeja for 5. So bowling figure-wise, Yadav 3 for 76, Bumrah 2 for 67, Thakur 1 for 54, Siraj 1 for 42, and then Jadeja nipped him with those 2 wickets for 36. Pretty hard work for the Indian seamers all round, but their opening batsmen did survive, and more than survive. They played well, actually. There was a chance that was given by Rohit Sharma to Burns, who didn't see the ball. It went low and quite quickly to him at slip, and didn't really get a hand on it, if I'm honest. But apart from that, there's a bit of playing and missing, to which one is entirely entitled against seam bowling of this quality. They've played really pretty well. And Michael Vaughan alongside me, and Deep Das Gupta as well. Let's start with Michael. From an England perspective, they just perhaps put things into perspective there a bit, perhaps, those Indian openers.
Yeah, I think if you go back to yesterday, when there was 13 wickets that fell, the ball swung around a little bit, there was a bit of seam movement. Today there's only been 7 wickets that have fallen, and I think that tells you here at the Oval the pitch does get a bit better. I expect the pitch to play purely tomorrow. I think it'll be a good day for batting. India trail by 56. You know, you have to fancy that this Indian batting line will eventually come and play to the standard that we think they can play. It's just the confidence levels of many of the Indian players. Can they find that belief, and can they find that discipline and calmness to bat for a long period of time? The pitch will tell you that a team should be able to bat the full day tomorrow. You know, it won't have the movement that we saw on day one. There'll be the odd ball potential that will keep low. We see that at the Oval on quite a lot of occasions, but India should have enough to bat a full day. You know, they won't get 90 overs, because we don't play 90 overs these days. We generally play about 85. They'll probably score at just over 3, so there'll be 250 runs on offer tomorrow, and if India bat the day out, they'll be going into day 4 with a 200-run lead, which will make this game very, very interesting indeed.
Interesting glimpse, Deep, isn't it, into sort of a window into the Indian mindset, actually, and where they are at the moment with their batting tomorrow, because those two have really set out a nice platform there, haven't they? But what is the confidence like, lower down? That's really the question. I suspect we'll get those answers tomorrow.
Absolutely, but if you look at the last 50 odd overs here that has been played today, that gives you a fair amount of idea how it might play tomorrow as well. Once that ball gets older, like 35 overs old or something, it hasn't really done much. No. If you look at the way, credit to Oli Pope and Bairstow and everyone else, but some of those shots were on the rise, and you could hit through the line. That's how good this pitch is. So that just gives you an idea how good the surface is, and as Michael mentioned, it's not going to change much tomorrow. Might be odd ball, which might just keep a little low. That should help the Indian mindset a bit. They know that going into day 4, day 5, that's going to be a little more consistent. The variable bounce. So yeah, if India manages to somehow kind of, which again, looking at the other side, they haven't done that very often. Have they scoring 350 odd runs every now and then? They have, but not as consistently enough as they would like to. But yeah, this pitch looks really good. Pujara has got runs in the last game. Virat's kind of looking his usual self last couple of innings. The only thing is Ajinkya. But again, these openers, they've done such a fabulous job right through the series, creating that platform. They've done it again. One big box tick today, but a few more to go tomorrow.
Yeah. How would you like them to play? I mean, because I thought that Rohit Sharma actually gave some glimpses there of actually looking a little bit more positive. Yeah, they only scored at 2.5 and over or so, but I thought there's a little bit more positivity about his shots. I mean, do you want to see them not just seize a little bit the initiative, maybe, rather than just let England bowl at them, that relentless line of length they've been banging away these last couple of games?
True. I mean, I guess a reflection of the pitch as well. If the pitch is good to bat on, which it is, you'd see a few more shots being played like we saw it today with KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, even against the new ball. Yes, and maybe also a little bit of an idea from how Shardul, I mean, obviously the conditions were different, the mindset was different. But they might have thought about it and say, listen, hello, if we can be a little more proactive, maybe take the fight to the bowlers rather than just hang in there or try to survive rather than doing that. Just be a little more proactive, as you mentioned. And also, this pitch will dictate how they bat to a great extent.
Yeah. What do you think, Michael? Because they've obviously really been very regimented and disciplined in trying to leave as much as they can at that channel, but would you like to see them be a little bit more proactive?
It's a very simple message that I would be giving the Indian batters. The first hour is key. It'll swing more in the first hour. It always does. There'll be a bit of moisture in the ground from overnight. There'll be more movement tomorrow morning for an hour than we've seen in the last hour or so at batting tonight. See off that first hour and then just play your game. I think in terms of Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, they've got the gift to be able to play those balls that are bowled into channel that we've seen continuously throughout the series by the England seamers. They're good enough to be able to control that channel once they've got in. But if they go chasing that channel too early when the ball moving around, they'll probably snick to the cordon. So it's about that first hour, seeing it off as a batting unit. And England will know, and Joe Root, that in the first hour tomorrow they can come and get the ball in the right area and knock over 2 or 3 quick wickets, and the momentum of the game just shifts purely towards England. But if India see out that first hour tomorrow morning, get 20 runs, 30 runs, I don't think the runs are that important. It's just seeing off that first hour, you start to think that India become favourites to win the Test match.
Yeah, interesting. There's been a few overs into Anderson's and Robinson's legs now.
Yeah.
I thought it just started to show a bit there.
Yeah, Robinson's paces are interesting. I thought he bowled a bit down on pace in the first innings, but he got wickets. He's just going through one of those periods where he's picking up wickets. That's been going to be the monitor for me on Ollie Robinson, where he's at with his paces, particularly when he goes overseas in hotter conditions. This four-man seam attack that England have been all over this Indian batting lineup. We saw in the second innings at Headingley that the Indians made it tough. They hung in there, but then there was a collapse. And I do think if England stay patient and believe, I do think there will be a cluster of wickets somewhere. I'll stick to what I said yesterday. Which team gets an individual to 100? So if India come out tomorrow and one of those individual players for India gets 100, everyone else will bat around it. They will bat the day, and I think it'll go a long way to giving England a very, very difficult chase. It's there for. I mean, if you just said on day one you're going to be batting on a pitch that's going to play like we've just seen, and it'll play like that tomorrow, you'd expect to bat the whole day out, wouldn't you? On a day one wicket playing in that phase. It's just the pressure of the game situation. That's all it is.
The other thing is, if India does manage to play through that first hour, not losing wickets and all, then obviously the pressure is on Joe Root. Automatically, the length of the bowlers or the line might get a little defensive. The field might get a little defensive. Things will starting to happen from there on. But the first hour, as Michael mentioned, so crucial. India lose a couple of wickets there, and then England's on top. Then you have those, rather than 2 slips, you'll have 3 slip and a gully and more attacking field. But suddenly, if you manage to see through that first hour, things will start happening for India then.
Still find it hard to believe England were 62 for 5 this morning. It just doesn't seem that sort of pitch.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, the 191 that India got, I thought was 60 light. In terms of the par score on the pitch in the conditions that they had to bat in. 290 and an Ollie Pope magnificent 81. I thought he played beautifully. He looked the high class player that so many people have told me, because I've only seen him a short while in Test match cricket. It's been sporadic. He's been so inconsistent. He's had that great 100 in South Africa, but we haven't seen enough of him in practice and behind the scenes to suggest that he's this superstar in the making. I saw enough today to believe that he could be. He played beautifully. But I will say this, the 290 that England got on the wicket and in the conditions that they batted in, I think is a long way light. You look at the dismissals, there were some poor shots. The ball didn't do anywhere near what it did for India in the first innings yesterday. It just did a little bit. The Moeen Ali shot, I don't know where that came from. Even the Ollie Robinson stroke, you're thinking,
Well,
where's that
bizarre.
come from?
Yeah, I mean,
The Hasid Mohamed shot last night, you think, that's a real poor cricket shot. There was a couple of good balls. I thought Bairstow and Joe Root got good cherries, a bit of bad fortune, I guess, for Rory Burns. But again, you're looking at an England Test match team that, if they want to be an outstanding team, they're a long way short in terms of 290 on a pitch that we've seen them bat on today. They should be thinking 400 plus on that kind of wicket, and one player should be getting the 150. They didn't, and it's allowed India back into the game, I think. Moeen Ali and that partnership with Ollie Pope, you were watching it, there was 13 overs to go to the second new ball, and all the work had been done. Everything had been done. They kind of nullified Bumrah. Jadeja was just, you could see they were just trying to get to that second new ball. England had 35 runs, I reckon, on offer in the 13 overs remaining to the second new ball without any risk. That would have taken them to 60, 65 ahead with 4 wickets remaining with that second new. And we saw the second new ball. It was actually quite nice to hit.
Yes.
And I think England
to come on better.
I think England should have had a lead of 140, 150 on that wicket.
Yeah. Ollie Pope, I guess, that's probably the first time you've really seen him score runs, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think he's very good. I think he's very good, very compact, very solid, busy player, and he's got all the strokes. I mean, we saw him pulling, cutting, driving the ball really well. Very good in building an innings, and that's the art in Test match cricket that you've got to learn: building an innings and constructing an innings. I think that's something that a lot of the newcomers or this generation is kind of, that the art is dwindling a bit. When you're just going at one pace, either you're hitting or you're letting go. But I mean, Michael will tell you, he's got tons of runs in Test match cricket. When you score 100, there are these phases where you have to see through a spell, and then suddenly you get this phase of 10-15 overs where you're hitting the gaps, you're getting boundaries, but you've got to construct it. And when you look at someone like Ollie Pope, you see that he's got that in him. He knows how to build an innings, how to construct an innings. Yeah. I think that's good to see.
I guess people inevitably they make the comparison for those who haven't seen him bat. I mean, there's quite a lot of Ian Bell in Ollie Pope, isn't there? That same sort of shape that he has, same sort of stature, same size, all those sort of things. And you have got in a way a young Ian Bell out there.
Yeah, I think you could throw, there's Ian Bell in there. I see a bit of Joe Root's movements.
Yes.
Back onto middle, moving that right foot back towards middle stump rather than backing across like we saw against New Zealand. His technique against New Zealand when he was batting over off stump and going even further was all at sea. So he's found his method. Whatever he's done today in terms of his technique, his mindset and his mentality, I always believe as young players that you go and write that down. Get in your room tonight and he should just be writing down everything that he's thought today because it was excellent. And you'll need it on a rainy day, I call it, because there'll be times in your career that you'll think, what's wrong with me? I'm not feeling right. And you go back to your little black book and you go, oh yeah, I remember that, the oval, that's what I was thinking, that was what I was doing. So it's just always a nice reminder. He looked class. He looked outstanding, but he didn't get the 100.
No.
And that's what Test cricket's all about.
And also Johnny Bairstow missed out again. He got the good start again, didn't he? I mean, I think he'll be frustrated by that.
Yeah, I think a lot of England's batters will be frustrated because I think that have been out there, I think this is a good pitch. There's the odd ball, but you're in English conditions. We're in September. You're going to get the odd ball that moves. But, as I said, I just think England are in the Test match. They've got a great chance of winning. But if they want to be an outstanding team, the catching again this week's not been quite up to scratch.
No.
And a 290 score on a pitch that played quite flat is a long way light of being par.
Feels to me like a Virat Kohli day tonight.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he's due.
Yeah.
Good pitch. A lot at stake to motivate him. What do you think?
Absolutely, yes. Good pitch, good batting conditions, and most importantly, listen, I mean, someone like him has scored runs in more difficult conditions. 2018 were like really tough conditions, but he's got those runs. It's just the mindset that we've been talking about, and it seems like he's in that mindset, in that frame of mind in the last couple of innings. He just needs to carry on, convert those 50s into 100s, and yeah, he's due.